giving people an insight into just like how evasive bodybuilding is as a lifestyle.
Okay.
So it's like, is it like just 100% like everything I do and think about is how, like the pursuit of bodybuilding changes all my thoughts and how I operate day to day? Or is there ever a period where you're like, I take a break from this for a little bit to, kind of, because I need to, want to, whatever.
Yeah, interesting, because I think by this stage in my life, it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
It kind of has to be.
Yeah.
But it also is on autopilot anyway.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I mean, you guys would be at this point right now. It's like, you can't look at a plate of food without being like carbs, proteins, fats.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
I just look at mine as proteins.
just
proteins, plants.
Salad.
But yeah, I get it.
It starts to become like involuntary.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that like, you're laying in bed over nighttime, you're like, how many steps did I do today? Without even like looking at the track. It's very all encompassing. Early on, that was what I wanted it to be.
Yep.
Because it was, bodybuilding is one of the very few sports in the world that what you do 24 hours a day is
influencing
the outcome, right?
Yeah.
I used to laugh all the time. It's like back when I was playing basketball, as dudes would be in the gym for 2 hours, like practicing, training, doing the right things, getting their body right. And then they go up to the cafeteria, get like a chicken and cheese quesadilla and some fries, take it back to the room and play 2K for 4 hours. And like, that was their day. And I'm like, okay, it's not directly relating to it. Like, obviously you could do things better from like a overall standpoint.
Yeah.
But they'd still come out the next day and like have 35 and 12 rebounds. Like, no, it was nobody's problem. Whereas you do that from a bodybuilding standpoint, you can't hide away from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like one of the biggest like questions that I ever got asked, and I will always ask my clients or anyone that comes off stage, is that, when someone walks off the stage, you don't ask like, how do you feel? You don't ask like, were you happy with the result? It's like, did you do everything that you could have done to be at your best today?
Yeah.
And straight away. Yeah. Like the look on their face, it's either absolutely I did, or it's a, oh. And when they like that look off, you're like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is like, that's why I was so mad about New York. No, I don't know if mad is the right word to use, but I did seemingly so well, and it wasn't through fault of my own. But there were things that happened that controlled the outcome that wasn't making me at my best.
Yeah.
And that will frustrate me until like the end of time. Is that one quote that I heard like a long time ago that stuck with me is like, the worst idea of hell when you die is meeting the person that you could have been.
Yeah.
Like, that's my idea of hell.
Yeah.
It's like when I pass away and in the afterlife or whatever you believe in, right? Is that, I meet myself and who I could have been.
He's Mr. Olympia.
And he's got 3 Mr. Olympia titles.
Because he started bodybuilding at 20.
At 20, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the way that I approach it, is that, if you can control everything that you can control, then you should be happy with the outcome regardless.
Yeah.
Especially in something that's not quantifiable like
absolutely.
bodybuilding.
Yeah. Would you has there been any, would you say the biggest setback that you had was like maybe that 2020, 2021 kind of where you were going to, where you thought you were shooing for the pro card? Like, do you think that was like the biggest setback you've experienced? Like,
I don't think it was a setback at all.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Is there anything that you can attribute to a time where there was like a setback and then you had to like kind of go back to the drawing board, lean on like, your mentality or something along those lines?
COVID. Like COVID was a big setback for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everything is about perception. So for me, I loved COVID. Loved it.
Good for you.
Because, and this is the way I kind of looked at it, because I like right when COVID happened, like that's when I was like on the cusp of like taking the next step and like having a crack at the pro card. So I did the last Arnold's, which was like in a warehouse. It was like the COVID, they called it the COVID Classic. So we got an email 2 days before the event being like, this is where the location is. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Type of scenario.
Yeah.
And I remember I think I placed second in the novice class in Classic, and then got smoked in the Open for whatever reason. I can't remember, but but that's when because that was like my first Classic crack, like proper crack at Classic, and I was second in the novice. So I won the first timers, was second at novice at nationals, and I was like, okay, like I'm on here, and then everyone into lockdown.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I'm so close. But then I was like, wait a second. Everyone else is about to take time off. Like everyone that just beat me now doesn't have anywhere to train. They don't care about anything. Like we're going into lockdown. So this is when everyone was started paying like $20 per kilo per dumbbell, right?
Yeah.
So I like scrounged and got some of the most the tetanus shot before every time I walked into the gym type of scenario in my garage because I was training with God knows what. But it was like that COVID period for me was like, this is my opportunity to leapfrog 20 other people right now.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I kind of looked at it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's good. Is there any advice that you would give to any aspiring bodybuilder who either is wanting to just get into the sport or pursue it to the level that you are?
Do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
For sure. Is that as long as you're doing what you love and you're not hurting anyone and you're doing it because it's what you want to do, not because you see someone else receive something that you want, or, you know, it's often from a physical standpoint, right? Everyone starts lifting weights because they want to look better.
Yeah. Want to pick up chicks.
Yeah.
And just attract men.
And all you get is guys in your DMs asking your weight and asking if you can stand on them.
I just send unsolicited nudes to Matt.
You do, yeah. It makes my morning when I get when I get a Ben or Jason and send you a photo. I'm like, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. I'm ready. No, the best piece of advice is just enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
Right. I've not shied away from talking about like my mental health and stuff in the past, and a lot of like my bodybuilding contributes to that from a positive standpoint.
Yeah.
Like I started weightlifting because I wanted to be better at basketball.
Yeah.
Like that was why I started weight training. And then it quickly became, I started weight training because it was better for my mental health. I wanted to feel better. I didn't want to look better. I was happy with the way I looked. They always say that the best you ever look is the day before you start to start bodybuilding. Right?
Yeah, I don't remember that anymore. It's just been sorrow ever since.
Yeah. So it's like you think you look good and then you decide to be a
then,
bodybuilder and then you realize that you don't look good, right?
Yeah. So I've got two more questions.
Yeah.
How is it always looking at yourself under that lens? Is there time, like, can you sit there and be like,
it's debilitating.
Is there ever moments where you're like, I'm actually happy with like the progress I've made and what I look like? Or are you always just like, I need, this muscle group to be big. I need a bigger chest. I need bigger shoulders. I need bigger triceps. Like it's always more.
Yeah, this is kind of gonna go against everything that I just said. Like, but speaking openly and freely, I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've looked in the mirror and been like, I like how I look.
I can only remember twice personally, so I can understand that.
Yeah, and and it's very, very hard to explain that to somebody. Like when you know, man, this is going to sound bad coming out of my mouth, but when you know you look better than 99% of the population, how do you complain about the way you look?
Yeah, it's a bit rich, isn't it?
Right?
But then it's like with the sport itself, you have to be that way.
Yeah. It's funny though, because I'm actually going to, from your last podcast, this is how you know I'm an avid listener. This is the last podcast, you talk about fat being like a relative term.
Yeah.
Same from like a body positive perspective.
Yeah.
Is that I know I look good.
Yeah, it's just you, but you have more fat than you previously did, and it needs to come off at some point.
Yeah. So yeah,
that doesn't change the way you act and show up though. Like you sit there and you're like,
no.
Yeah. So and it doesn't. Does it change how you interact with other people and your day and all that? Like, because that's the problem that we were talking about last week. Is like, you can be like somewhat critical of your physique because you're trying to push it in a direction that's, a standard that's really high that you hold yourself to.
Yeah.
You just can't get upset and treat other people a certain way or treat yourself a certain way because you're not there yet.
Yeah. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Is that, I was, regardless of how I look, how I feel, my stature, it's like, I was always raised from the standpoint of you treat the CEO and you treat the janitor the same way.
Absolutely.
And that's regardless of who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, how I look, whether I'm bulking or cutting, right?
Yeah. That's the most noticeable thing that I've experienced from meeting you compared to other people in your position.
That's very humbling to hear.
Is that you just treat everybody the same.
Yeah. Is that, I tell everyone I don't want to be remembered as a good bodybuilder. Like I want to be remembered as a good person.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's way more important to me than
Yeah, because that gets remembered way beyond.
100%.
Yeah, the bodybuilding.
But not only,
Recording the story for today, put it on socials because I know that about you, and I was like, no offense, but it's for the podcast. We've got to G it up.
Yeah.
Like, IFBB Pro Matt's coming in, and I almost felt like,
Yeah.
but it's Matt.
yeah.
Like it's weird.
But remember,
because you're so. No, I'm just Matt.
I'm just me. Yeah.
But people remember that interaction that they had with someone that was real kind of personable than just when they saw you posing up on the... Like, if you're nice to everybody and you treat them all the same, they remember that compared to, like, your front double bicep.
And I think it matters more, too, when you are the pro or the, like, whatever status you are anywhere in life. When you're in a position of status that you can meet someone... see, like at their level, for lack of a better description, it feels even more important because they're like, oh, he didn't just brush me away. He was just like, how's your day or whatever.
It's crazy because I don't think of myself in that position.
Yeah.
That's good.
So when people
Which is why it works.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when people will sort of come up to me and be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
Just the guy.
I'm just me. I'm just hanging out.
Yeah.
And like I'll show interest or
Yeah.
you know, I get a lot of like social media, like DMs, people ask me questions or whatever, and I'll just like shoot the shit back. I'm like, oh, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to like And I'm like, how many pieces of shit are there out there that like
lots of them.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
And I mean
Be
like
polite when you message Matt.
just be polite, please.
Yeah.
Just say hello before you ask a question.
Don't demand.
Say hello before you ask a question.
Yeah.
It's that, you know, I was, like I said, it's you treat the CEO the same way you treat the janitor. And another thing that I've always lived by, and I will say this until the day I die, is that be the person that you needed when you were in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
all right.
Good.
You know,
good
I think about
huge on that.
From a coaching standpoint, from an athlete standpoint, from a human standpoint.
Yep.
Right. I remember being a 12-year-old boy that
Just wanted to be huge.
didn't have a dad that right, but also wanted to be huge. I didn't want to be huge until I was 26. So it's a difference. But it's like in every aspect of life, is that someone people need me for me more than they need me for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
So that's more important to me.
And if bodybuilding allows you to connect with more people to be able to do that, it's pretty cool.
Which is why I'm so inclined to, you know, to be open about my mental health, to talk about, you know, issues that everyone goes through, not just bodybuilders go through.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate to use this like terminology, but like using my platform for something other than this is how you do a bicep curl.
Yeah.
Right. That's so much more important to me.
Yeah. We both had that feedback from like the photo shoot too. It's like people would ask us like, how's the photo shoot? And we'd be like, well, the team was amazing. I had a great time. Like, were you happy?
Oh,
I'm like, I'm like really happy with how I look too.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being able to, people come in nervous, people, and even just like the coaching relationship, like you said, it's like being there, being the person that maybe someone never told them that they could do something and be good at it. Like that kind of shit is really cool.
It's really cool. And then to find out like years down the track that you played a pivotal role in someone, something that you don't even remember. That's the biggest feedback that I get is when someone's like, oh, I remember seeing you like 5 years ago and you did this, this, and this, and it like changed my outlook on something. And I was like, I don't even remember that.
But still pretty cool.
But pretty cool that my default setting is to help someone.
Yeah.
My default setting is to be kind to someone. That's always good feedback. Or when you hear someone get back to you on something that it wasn't supposed to be, like when someone's talking behind your back and without them knowing that it's going to get back to you and it gets back to you and it's a positive thing, like that's always the best thing to hear.
Yeah.
I have one more question. It's going forever.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just Tam's fault. It's Tam's problem, not ours.
Okay, cool.
Tam's fault.
He's not even here to defend himself. He's going to wait till he watches it back.
That's why I said it.
Perfect.
So, anyway, do you think there is a good way and I wouldn't say bad way, but a not so good way to pursue bodybuilding?
Absolutely.
And what would the distinguishment be?
There's an
between
efficient
those?
way and an inefficient way.
Yep.
To pursue bodybuilding.
Yep.
Depends which way you're looking at it. Can you be more specific? Like from a starting position?
What's the question?
What's the question? It's
the question is
my interpretation.
Yeah. So people look at bodybuilding and if they're none the wiser,
Mhm.
any pursuit in any way possible makes them bigger, stronger, more shredded, but they don't understand the cost of it. Is it all just a positive and a good way of doing it, and the end outcome is the end outcome?
Mhm.
Or is there like two people take two roads
Mhm.
and they both get to stage? Did one person take a better road than the other person?
Absolutely.
What would be the biggest distinguishments of those paths?
Who helped you get there? Is probably my first thought.
Yep.
Is that like
I'm trying to get down the route of like everybody thinks that someone like yourself is blasting heaps of shit, eating fuck tons of food, abusing every single compound under the sun.
Yeah.
When you and I have conversations and you would look at that plan and not think it's for you. And then there's other people on the other side of it, like we've spoken about, and they're taking 5 times that, and they don't look anywhere near as, they don't even look like they use a quarter of that, let alone 5 times it. And I believe that is because their approach to bodybuilding isn't good enough. Yeah. And that's the distinguishment.
The distinguishment is instant gratification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the distinguishment there. I like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I want to bodybuild, and I want to continue to bodybuild for a long period of time. It's the people that are chasing a pro card, that are chasing a stature, that are chasing clout, that are using X, Y, and Z because they think that will get them there sooner, but it'll also get you to the finish line sooner. Of finish line of life.
Yeah, I was going to say not the finish line of bodybuilding.
And so it's like the best way to sort of navigate that, going back to the last statement, was like, be who you needed.
Yeah.
Like, find who you need. At the same time, is that there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. It's what's the best way to go about it. Find someone that's done it. Pay them for their services, first of all. Don't just blindly ask them questions. And learn and educate yourself. And that's probably the biggest difference, is the people that are willing to learn and educate themselves about X, Y, and Z and PEDs and food and
your health,
food
and all
and
those
protocols
things.
and everything. Is that that I think the internet can be the best place and the worst place sometimes. There's so much conflicting information and
absolutely.
It sounds like the difference between those two is like, is your intent to leverage bodybuilding for another outcome, or is your intent to bodybuild? That seems to be where the biggest gaps. Because even like we talk all the time about like the person that competes, and then after competing they're like, it's fucking terrible for you and eating disorder this and that. It's like you were chasing something that you didn't get out of it, and it fucked you.
Well, it's the same.
You weren't like, I fucking love this thing and I'm going to continue to do it for a long period of time, and this is my sport. And like it's predominantly on the female athlete side is gave me an eating disorder and that kind of stuff. On the male side, it's drug abuse, it's all that kind of stuff.
I feel like men have the eating disorder, they just sit with it better.
Yeah, just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they just sit with it a lot better. I feel like both have. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. It's the demonization of this sport and this industry is very easy to do.
Of course.
Because you hear of the negatives.
Yeah, and it's very invasive.
Very invasive.
The chances of it fucking something up are high because it's multifaceted. Correct. What you have to do.
Yeah.
Correct. Affects your social life, affects your own personal self-esteem and confidence.
And you never get...
It's one of those things too that like everyone's gone to the gym.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. It's like, I go to the gym.
Yeah, I know.
I've eaten chicken once.
Yeah.
Like,
I've tracked the macro.
Yeah. Or even like, then you go to like...
I've taken T-bowl before.
T-bowl.
I've done a fat loss phase. Like it just, you know what I mean? Like people think that they've done the thing.
Yeah.
Because they've had exposure to the environment, and it's the environment isn't the thing.
Yeah. It's... Come talk to me when you've done it for 10 years straight. Yeah. Then you've got the ability to... Like you said, we've seen every single person on the sun. Everyone can stick to a diet for 12 weeks and get lean.
Yeah.
Right? Can you reverse out? Can you make progress? Can you do it again a second time? Can you do it again a third time? Can you get better every time? Can you be more efficient every time? Can you take less drugs and do it? Right?
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When you think about it.
100%. And from a longevity standpoint, yeah.
I have one more question now. Yeah. I could do this forever.
All day.
This is, and I need you to be as honest as possible.
Oh, I love where this is going. I'm not even going to think about my response.
Supplements, food, training.
Yep.
Which one has the biggest bang for buck?
in terms of your outcome from a bodybuilding standpoint.
Yeah.
Oof.
Training, food, supplements, in that order.
Yeah, and you're not just bullshitting.
I'm
like,
not bullshitting.
Yeah.
What if I put genetics in the list?
Well, but
There's levels.
yeah, but you can't control that. So the other three you can control. So
Yeah.
because like I
But
just
I almost
know.
feel like it's important for some people to understand that.
Yeah, but I just know that there's people still who look at a
Yeah.
man this size and just go, he's blasting out of his mind. And then it's like, I've trained with Matt.
Yeah.
And I see him train. And I see how dedicated he is with his food, with his fucking bucket of chicken that he's walking around everywhere with. Everywhere
I've got
he
it
goes.
here. I can bring it out. For
Yeah,
this
that's
one.
it. It's like, you can't supplement your way out of that work.
Yeah.
You can't.
The work in the gym and the work outside of the gym with your nutrition, the supplements enhances those things.
Supplement is like lower on that list.
Yeah,
It's last, in my opinion. Like,
it's enhancing. They enhance the rest of the stuff.
yeah.
It doesn't fill gaps. It's not filling holes of like, this dude doesn't work hard enough. His program's shit. You know, he skimps on his calories and he's not prepared with his food. You do all of that stuff, these things actually get to work.
Yeah.
They don't get to fill the
You
gaps.
speak to any professional bodybuilder, and they say, what's the hardest thing to remember to do? Take your shots.
Yeah, because everything else is way more important.
I will not miss a meal. I will not miss a training session. I
Yeah.
will get 8 hours of sleep with a fucking CPAP if I have to.
Yeah.
I will do all those things.
Yeah.
Fuck, when was the last time I pinned test? Shit.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow. Like, whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, or they'll miss their
Yeah.
GH shots. Because it's not that important. It's a supplementation to everything else that you're doing.
Yeah.
And like I tell everyone, like, the two most important things in bodybuilding is time and consistency.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't cheat those two.
Yeah.
You can't cheat time in the game, and you can't cheat consistency.
Yeah.
When everyone asks me what is the one thing that you attest to your success in this industry, I said, I've been doing this shit for a long time, and I haven't fucking taken a day off.
Yeah.
That's it.